Can't wait to see.
Here we go! It's time to do this once again! It's time to dim the lights and let the feedback build! 3 clicks and sticks, and we're ready to explode! We sing along!
This content is for informational and educational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained here constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments whatsoever by Draper Goren Blockchain, aka DGB, the presenter, or other associated parties for the content being provided. Please do your own due diligence and seek proper counsel.
Boom. What is happening? Good morning, Emilio. Actually, for you
Emilio's here
in New
now.
Jersey,
You
it's
guys
the
come join us.
afternoon.
You need to come
Live. Yeah, you got to get up on the screen with us, Emilio, one of these times. I'm getting all the alerts to my phone here, all the different things.
So
Yeah.
we were talking, right? Like we'll show this. Like so, we've been talking about like building on this program, right? That was. Did this work? Okay, hold on. Reload.
Okay.
were
Well,
talking
I
about
can bring it to the stage
Oh,
too
yeah,
in
yeah,
a second or now. Yeah. So I'll talk for a second because I know you're getting over your cold. But first off, before we begin, so we don't forget, let's throw up the thing here. If you are an early stage company in the blockchain space, go to dgb.vc, pitch us. Go to @DGB Ventures everywhere on YouTube and on Twitter and all that to find us and follow us and hang out with us. We invest in early stage startups. All right, Emilio will join us soon. We'll text about it, Emilio, or DM on Twitter or something. So we invest in early stage startups in the blockchain space. We are a lot of times the first check into a company. Sometimes the company's not even incorporated when we start. So we like to be first. We like to be early. And one of the things we did actually, so last week, a team member of ours, Sergey, he did internally for the whole team, he did a workshop on some AI tools that you could use to be a little more productive, not just in the development side of things, but also for documenting stuff, for creating stuff, and not just in a kind of one-dimensional way like ChatGPT, ask a question, build me something, or here's some code, edit it for me, whatever, but in a more in a way you would actually work with a team or with a coworker. And it was really cool. And David Rankin over the weekend was playing with that tool and then also with Replit and some other AI tools and built some stuff. And literally about an hour ago, we went, we've talked about an idea we've had for a long time, but also we always come up with new ideas on this stream. Why don't we use these AI tools and build a prototype or try to build a prototype live in the 1 hour that we have together live to prove a couple things? It's going to be crappy, probably something you build in 1 hour as fast as possible without pre-thinking about it or working on it, right? But the main thing that I want people to think about is that you have no excuses, right? This just shows that David Rankin over a weekend built something really complicated. And I don't know if we want to share that exactly, but we can maybe talk about it a little and share some stuff, and then we'll just get into it. But we meet amazing, smart people all the time. And every once in a while, you meet somebody and they've got nothing to show for it because they'll say, oh, until we get funding, we can't build, or until I find a CTO, I can't do this. And we don't expect almost ever for someone to have something completely built and ready to rock when we meet them. Most of the time, it's a prototype or even just wireframes or different things. But every day that goes by with the type of AI tools and things that are out there for practically free, even non-technical people can build a prototype, can do something. What were you saying?
Well, I was saying, I remember back in the day, because I worked in construction and I also had a background in IT and so I built our own bidding management system, right? This is before all these other applications were around. And I used a thing called Drupal, which is a content management system. And you built all your own plugins, you use modules and stuff like that to build this all out.
A little bit similar to WordPress, right? It's like it's coding, it's less code, it's like no code, but you still did some technical stuff.
You still have to know some stuff. And so that was the problem, is a hurdle. I built out an MVP with this product, and I never thought about trying to go take it to market or take it to a VC, because, like, as far as I'm concerned, I built it in Drupal, and I was like, I need to hire real programmers to actually build this out, because, like, I wasn't 100%, but, like, I just kind of stopped at that point. Now, granted, I was building it for somebody else, but, like, now if I, understanding the VC mindset, understanding the VC space, and understanding that, hey, if I can build a product, it doesn't matter if that product's finished. It's the fact that now I have something that I can go and present and then start to get the funding that I need to then launch it to 100%.
One of the things that is more important than the product and the idea, in my opinion, right? Yeah. Is the problem you're solving is the big thing. But even more important than that is there's lots of people that are attacking every single problem every single day. What you want to see is that, the person who's pitching to you can get shit done. And that from the day you meet them to a week later or 2 weeks later, there's progress, there's movement, and this person is going to get things done and move and figure it out, right? Because nobody has it figured out on day one. Like, no product looks the same a month later, 6 months later, 2 years later, 10 years later when they sell the company. So what you just want to see that the people can do it. So this is a great way to demonstrate that and actually go from zero to, or even just get to zero, right? Or getting off zero. But this is kind of from 0 to 0.1. You can do by yourself, and you can even go beyond that if you're an engineer. But like Sergey on our team said, which I like, he's like, anything you do, this will make you 100x more productive. So if you're a good engineer, you could get 100x more work. If you're a shitty engineer, like maybe me, because I don't know how to build everything and I'm not up on the latest programming languages, it'll be me times 100x, which is also not good. But this is, again, I don't think this isn't something you put on chain. I don't think this is something you consider as secure, but this is something that can be used for prototyping or sometimes even just documentation, right? You don't necessarily have to build using this. You can just document the crap out of it and then have an engineer build it. But what else do we need to say to set the stage? Okay,
so you've been talking about an idea for months. Now, I will say we haven't tried any of this up front, all right? I have preloaded and grabbed a few photos on my machine just so that way we had something to work with. They're not going to be good or anything. They're not going to be a final product. But we're going to try to build something that Alon's been talking about for a long time, just to see how far we get with this. And I don't expect it to be good. I don't expect it to be a working product, but we're going to see how far we can get in the next 45 minutes just to have fun with this.
Let's have a little fun. So
first of all,
idea, okay.
What should this do? Let's give it a basic description, because we're telling AI what it is that we want to build.
Well, let's tell the people, and then we will go from there. So the general idea that we kind of joked about over the years, and again, we have to decide if this even includes NFTs or anything like that. But the general idea was originally like, we're going to solve world peace because of our love and tradition for food, right? Because I could be sitting on a call explaining a dish that my grandma would make, right? That is, an eggplant dish to somebody that's in India on the other side of the call, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, my grandma makes almost the exact same dish, and the difference is maybe some spices, right? Or hummus, right? It was always this funny thing that we'd talk about, because it's like at the United States, hummus is at Greek restaurants, it's at Arabic restaurants, at Israeli restaurants, it's at health food restaurants, and every single different culture claims that they were the creator of it, or that it's their dish, right? But it's not. It's the world's dish, right? And we joke that we can all sit around the table and be in love with food and realize we're all the same people. And so we joked that how cool would it be to get these recipes from people around the world, right? In a community like ours, maybe raise money for charity in the meantime. Like that's where we were getting these ideas for having an NFT drop that we talked about years ago. But the idea is that like I could submit a recipe, and let's say that it's my grandma's eggplant recipe. Somebody might love that recipe, but I don't even remember if my dad does this or not. If there's if you use flour like breadcrumbs or whatever, but somebody might get it and go, you know what? I'm allergic to Canadians don't claim hummus to be their creation, Crispin. One time I went to a hockey game. Canucks made me think of this. And my brother's friend brought a big sign that said, "What the fuck is a Canuck?" And I thought that was pretty hilarious, because I was like a teenager and I'm like, I can't believe they said that out loud. Anyway, what if somebody wants to then, somebody else needs to take credit for this. I don't remember if it's you, Rankin, or somebody else said, what about forking people's recipes? Because let's say Rankin gives me his favorite recipe of something and I go, oh, well, my family is gluten-free, or you know what, we don't eat pork, so we'd like to make it with chicken. And then people can take a recipe that belongs, provenance on chain or whatever, credit goes to David Rankin's grandmother, but then I fork it to be my own version that has this or that in it. Oh, we got Kevin's joining us. This is going to be great. Kevin, have you been listening? Can you hear me? What happened?
He's not out of the state. Is he on the state?
I don't know if you can't hear us, refresh or something.
I was in a meeting, but I heard the last 3 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to build from scratch using this AI tool and Rankin at the helm, an app that allows us to submit recipes. So the idea that I've had for years with the recipes and stuff, you've heard me pitch it before. So people from around the world can submit recipes. They own that recipe, and then other individuals can then fork that recipe and make their own versions. And then there'll be this sort of spider web of recipes and things. Are you hearing us now? Are you on now?
Okay. So this is not going to be exact, right, to what the whole idea is. We're just going to try to see if we can get something going and established. Right.
Oh, you're gonna try to do the NFT drop generation part?
I'm gonna try to do whatever I can do. We're gonna see how far we get. Right? Because we're trying to do this in 45 minutes. So this is what I'm saying so far. We are creating a web app that takes images from a number of backgrounds. I should say a number. I don't know
I think if we're talking about just the original drop of an NFT, I don't know if what we're building here is, let's pause for a second. What do we want the first version really to be? Because if we're talking about the drop, or is it the ability to maybe it should just be about submitting recipes. We approve the recipe as you being the originator, and then more of that part of it. Because the NFT drop is something that's probably pretty easy, but already exists. Like there's already GitHubs full of codes for creating, for generating those types of PFP layered NFTs, right?
I was going to have it up. So I was going to do this. We are creating a web app that takes images from a number of backgrounds, because I have all these backgrounds, number of food dishes, and pieces of paper that are uploaded. It takes the images and overlays them in order, and then on the piece of paper generates a random recipe. Now we can write the recipe. I mean, like, how do you want to change it? You let me know how you want to change it. Like,
Kevin, can you hear us now? And do you know what
I
we're
can
doing?
hear.
Ah, okay. You're with us.
What instructions do we want to initially give it? Like, what kind of program? What do we want it to do? Let's be pretty specific here.
I'm trying to think what's more exciting from a
What do you
visual
want?
standpoint is doing these images, right? And generating images through this app, or having an actual web app first where it's like you see recipes and you're able to fork the recipe and change the ingredients or something. And go, Kevin's hummus, and then go, I fork Kevin's hummus, and I go, well, I like to make this with double the garlic and add this spicy thing.
Okay, so it's just like this though. The thing is, with any programming, what people have to understand, if you're going to start building something, you got to start with the most basic fundamental thing. Like, what do you want the most basic app to do? And then you build the features on top of that. So what is the most basic feature to this? Are we uploading images? Does it individual upload images, or are all the images already there?
And I think it's also like, what's the need? What's the first need of the first people that are using it? And that might extend to other needs, or the satisfaction of those needs might extend to other wants that they might want to be built. But too many choices and too many things, I think, might.
Well, what?
I got it. We're gonna limit it. Okay, we are creating a web app that takes an image.
Yeah, you know what? I think each person should submit a recipe with one image.
Yeah,
and the image should be like the recipe card itself in the handwriting of the person who wrote it, if you have it, right? That would be like grandma's recipes, right? Because then I could be like, this is Kevin's grandma's recipe in her handwriting. And then we could put in the text of the recipe itself. And then the NFT drop was like a way to fundraise for some charity. And we thought we would do this on top of it, right? Let's not focus on the NFT drop and focus on submitting recipes and then being able to view those recipes. And then later we can add the forking of the recipes.
So, but why am I putting my recipe on this? Why is that?
So that you can prove, you'll have the earliest timestamp of your grandma's handwritten recipe. It's proof that this is like the origin, or at least your family's origin. And then it's a way for people around the world to go, maybe we even create a map with a pinpoint of where that person's recipe came from, or where that person was born. Right, my grandma was born in Alexandria, Egypt, and this is her recipe.
I got it.
So the operative word is proof, and so it's like a first to file patent. You know, it's just like, I got this here. So the thing of emphasis would be when it was submitted, what it is, and when it was submitted, and the fact that it's a recipe. So those are the operative things. If there's a map or others like that, that's like down the line. But the core reason of like why I want to come in,
too complex.
It's very gritty, this gritty, very command liney kind of website, this app to use. But I'm coming to it because I really need to mint this recipe.
Well, so eventually, right? Eventually, you mint the recipe. It's proof. Now you own the Kevin's mom's hummus recipe. And you have that there. And then people who love it can maybe rate it, do it, fork it. And then, there'll be different things you get. And maybe over time, what if we decide, you know what, we're going to do this world recipe book. We're going to publish it online. We're going to distribute.
That takes off too.
Then it goes to IP ownership, and you own the IP of that particular recipe in that particular way on this, in this repository.
But but all those things are conditional on engagement. But if there's something for me to
we want it, it'll be valuable even if it's just us three submitting these recipes.
If we're just submitting these things, and even if people don't fork and they don't do any stuff with it, and it's not going to,
it'll be valuable to us three. If we just share all of our family recipes and then we share the modifications we make with each other, it would be a valuable, really cool website for families and friends of each other. Like if this existed just for my family and there was a way for my family to share all of the family recipes, because my sister-in-law might have one from their family.
We want it to grow as a network. So what's the vig there for a person to be like, you know what? I want to fork this and I want to make this thing. I'm thinking maybe there is some kind of, I use the term very broadly, incentive. Maybe it's just a social incentive, but it's like, there is something to me taking this recipe, altering it, and then that thing has a driven up that thing gets more upvotes or whatever than the original recipe, you know, that kind of thing, where it's like, and now like this is what's considered. So then there's like a conversation happening in terms of minting, in terms of this, you know, files and
It could
timestamps,
become
collection stuff, but there's a conversation embedded within it that's
You
natural.
know how you Google a recipe idea and you get like food.com or whatever faces show up, and they always have a ton of reviews, but you don't know what's real. The picture looks good, but it tends to be crappy. There's ads, they're crappy. This could eventually become a proof version. Maybe the only way to fork a recipe is to prove that you actually forked it, like taking a picture of the food you made and with a timestamp and a geolocation or something like that. That could be later, but right now I'm just saying you submit a recipe, you get proof you submitted that recipe. Then, you know, there's a recipe database that says Kevin submitted this recipe on this date with this image of his grandma's writing the recipe, maybe in another language, and you have to put the English version next to it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same. I think there's a logic to why do people fork things on. So, I mean, there's the internal objective of why people are trying to use this thing in the first place. And then there's that intermediate objective that we want to encourage that's going to lead towards, you know, a population of the site or the app, right?
I think
so.
GitHub generate images.
What you said, if it's just for us, like just the three of us doing stuff and forking things and doing whatever, well, we could invent GitHub and do the same thing, right? But if like we're designing GitHub as a platform for people, then it's like, okay, well, like there's some encouragement there. Like there needs to be something that would warrant or necessitate a person to want to go and fork and do, you know, the repo and do their own thing. And there's a social concept, like people will give you credit for that and feedback on GitHub as well. And so there's something to that's critical, I think, to the human experience. And there's other stuff you can, I mean, there's stuff they added later, but really when you whittle it down like a Git or GitHub to its core of like, what does it offer that you wouldn't get? It's an experience of doing something in a collective that everybody feels naturally encouraged to want to do. So I think there is a narrative of people who do take recipes and modify them. We've been doing that literally since the beginning of human civilization. We've been taking recipes, modifying them. That's what we've done. We haven't been able to document it. We've been able to pass them on through an oral tradition or maybe a loose written tradition. But it's like, well, maybe this is part of our intellectual heritage as human beings. Maybe we should have it in a consolidated.
Pause.
I think
Pause, Kevin. Let's see how well this lousy prompt that I haven't tested before is going to work. And it says right now we are creating a web app to create an image. It allows a user to upload 3 images. Okay. 1 background, 1 food dish, and 1 piece of paper that is uploaded. It then takes the image and overlays them in this order: a background, a food dish, and a piece of paper. There is an image display window displaying the background image. Then the food dish is overlaid at 80% of the size, and then the piece of paper is overlaid over the bottom 25% of the image display window. The user then enters a recipe via text box, which places text over the piece of paper. A snapshot of the display window is taken and saved locally. Each layer is then saved to the database. All right, we're going to start with that and just see how far we can get with it. Okay? Everybody ready? Anything we should add to that, or does that sound good?
No, go for it.
Let's see what happens. Cross your fingers. And we'll be surprised as to where it goes. Okay, so now it's
what tool are you using for this?
We're using Replit. Replit.com. Okay, so absolutely it likes our idea so far, I guess. Let me propose what we'll build for you. It's actually going to propose this. It'll give us some suggestions and then we'll start building it. Okay, so it asks us, I'll help you create an image composition web application that allows users to upload and combine 3 images with text overlays for recipes. The MVP will focus on the core functionality of the image upload, layering, and text addition. Would you like to proceed with the implementation? Yes. Would you like any of these additional features? Added image editing capabilities? Yeah, we could probably do that. We want to do that now?
Sure.
Sure. Implement template system for composition. Not quite sure what that is. Create gallery and save composition. Sure. All sounds good. And fine, let's go.
Okay.
So now it's going to start going through these, and it's going to start filling. Now, that was really hard, wasn't it?
Super hard.
Super hard. Writing my code. This is a good day at work, you know? Working really hard right now.
It's creating a bunch of TypeScript files.
Right? Yep.
It's a lot of code. I remember somebody pitched me once and they tried to explain to me that we should invest in their company based on the number of lines of code they've written. And then I explained to them that I understand that the number of lines of code is a meaningless vanity metric.
Well, did you tell them it's better that you have less? It's better.
I go like, more. Well, you could put all of this on one line of code if you wanted to. It would be an insanely long and inefficient line of code, and it would be, the same thing. Oh, this looks like an app.
So let's go.
Took a screenshot. Wait, what is going on here? Oh, loading your page.
Yep, loading our page.
I remember a guy who was complaining about getting denied for a Tesla's Foundation grant because of how many pages his grant application was. It's like 40 pages. What? That's the first time he ever wrote something.
Look, do we want to make this database or do we want to make this a crypto-based project, blockchain-based?
Kevin, are you talking about yourself?
Do we want
Kevin, okay, wait.
Blockchain or database? Database is usually probably easier.
Yeah, just database right now. We'll bring it on chain later. Let's start with keep it simple. Pool schema, blah, 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 created PostSQL database. Crispin, in the meantime, sharing us some pizza recipes. By the way, Crispin, I own the domain name nft.pizza. Just saying. Food is clearly very important to me. Okay, took a screenshot. Recipe image composer. Here we go.
All right. So this is actually up and running right now.
The actual page, or is that the image?
Yeah, this is a page.
Okay, background image. So upload them. Let's test this.
So look, so I can go click on background, choose image. Okay. I'm gonna you can't see this, but right now I'm selecting an image from my screen. I've actually, because I knew we were doing this today, I set up some backgrounds. So let me go select a background. We will apply this nice,
cool
redwood background.
Under 5 megs.
Valid file. Under 5 megs. Huh. Okay. I didn't consider that.
You also didn't tell AI to have a size limit, so they chose to do that.
So let's do this.
Why don't you just message Abe? Can you remove the 5 meg size limit?
Well, what we'll do is either downsize the file or upload the size limit. So like this, we're gonna tell the AI, say, I'm having an issue uploading a file due to the size limit. Sorry, I'm gonna call and get an over. Size limit. Let's either remove the size limit or take the photo and downsize it. So it's going to think about my answer. All right, so it's going to modify the code. It's going to ask. It's going to help you. It just tells me. Now, there is a little bit of a trick. It's going to go ahead and do it for you, and it's going to go think and find the best solution. If you want to ask it certain questions, sometimes you'll want to tell it, don't do anything. Just provide me a response in the discussion channel, and then it'll do that. Sometimes I'll add additional bug features, testing features, and say, hey, let's debug this. Please provide this information and whatnot, and then it'll come back to you. Sorry for coughing and I'm not okay, so we should be able to upload a larger image now. Let's click that. I'm going to go click larger image. Click JPEG. We don't know what happened, so let's add some verification so we know that we've uploaded an image. I can't tell that.
Yeah, you can put can't tell that you've selected / uploaded an image, because I'm assuming down below there's going to be somewhere where it asks you to submit.
Well, I'm going to tell it to show us a preview to show that we've actually uploaded the image.
Yeah. All right, do it.
Let's show a preview. Image uploaded.
Good. Good minimalism.
Right of the use image. All right. Oh, actually, do we have the image there? Okay, so I guess I didn't need to do that. So look, I'm gonna pause it.
Oh, because it was just so big, it took a while to upload. But it should be somewhere. It should have a little progress bar or something. But whatever. Okay, but test it right now at least.
Never mind. Let's apply a check mark.
Once an image is selected.
Once an image has been uploaded.
No, just put selected, because then you know in the background it's taking time to upload.
Well, no, for each category, when you upload an image, I want to know.
Okay.
Never mind. Let's apply a check mark on it on a category for the category. Once an image has been uploaded. Okay, let's do that. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show like a check mark if we uploaded an image. So it's going to rebuild it. Sorry, on everybody's ears.
That's no big. All right, to start uploading some images. Let's see.
Yeah, let's see. This is progress.
Looks clean, right?
Looks pretty clean. We'll choose our images.
Or for like 15 minutes of work, because we spent the first 20 minutes talking.
Come on, dude. Didn't you see how many lines of code I did? Oh, look, got a check mark back
there we go. That's the check mark we wanted. Okay, now
look how hard I worked today to make that happen today. Thank you.
Okay, let's see food dish. Add the food dish.
Plates.
But wait, I bet you it's just going to, it's not going to remove the background, right, of the image. See, that's what I was expecting. Yeah, okay, but it's okay. Paper, image, do the paper. Let's just see the whole way
Thanks,
through.
AI. Jeez.
But this is what you expect, right? I don't think the AI is going to be, actually, it's probably possible.
Oh, no,
I know, I'm being sarcastic.
Bottom right quadrant.
No, you want the paper in. Oh wait, because you want the food dish. It's actually food. See, the original idea for the drop was that I was going to get pictures of everybody's tables around the world, everybody's place settings around the world, and everybody's recipe cards. And then it would be like Kevin's table with David's plate and my mom's recipe card in the middle of a plate, right? And it would be this beautiful thing where it could be like a table in Iran, a plate from Japan, and a recipe card from Mexico, and they're all together on the same thing. Maybe in the corner, a little picture of your grandma or something, right, from another country.
You know what would be cool if it's like, I'm thinking, like, let's say there's one recipe up there. It starts with one recipe, right?
Yeah.
Somebody does the first mint and all of that. Maybe there's a couple others. But then people who are like I think engagement is shown like partly by appreciation for it at its lowest level, but then also if you actually go and make something with that recipe and then you document that this is that thing. Now it might not be, it's not going to look the same. Of course it's not. But you know what? AI can detect, this was an attempt at this.
Or maybe there's an admin. Maybe once a week we meet as a team and go, okay, did Kevin actually make the recipe? That looks about right. Do we believe him? Like, did he share enough information that we believe that he did it and he didn't just like, whatever?
The AI could say, look, with 80% probability, this is the same thing. Or something like that, whatever. It's not going to be the same. It's going to be different. But it's like, I think that, and then you can go and you can see like, what are the most like used, like utilization in that regard? Like it's proof of utilization. So like, what's the most utilized of that? And then that's the recipe I'm first most enticed to want to go and make because of previous social.
How about this? People can submit videos of them making the recipe, things like that. Because the thing I wanted to do was I wanted to start by getting my dad, who does a lot of the cooking in my house, but also is a big talker. It obviously runs in the family, right? With his big, heavy Israeli accent, make a dish with my uncle or something, with his brother. And they would be arguing about it. It would be funny as hell. It would be super great to watch if you're into it. Most people might not be into it, but it would be important to me and my family that we have them doing it. But then once they make all the family recipes I submit to this, start having them make other people's recipes and talking about it and go, ooh, and then go, my dad loves spicy shit, right? And be like, I love Kevin's recipe. He loves making, dishes from that part of the world. And it's like some of his favorite food. So he's going to make it. And then he's going to be like, you know what I'm going to add? I'm going to add this spice or this thing. I don't have this. I don't have cilantro. So I'm going to put in this thing instead. Right. And then we'll have videos of proof that then of each person making the thing. And that adds a whole extra level to
instead of recipe text, maybe it makes more sense to have two things, one being the recipe instructions and the other being the story.
A story to go along with it would be great.
And so that it's like, well, this is the instructions part. and then I'll get to that. Because often, that's the thing that always kind of annoys me about when you Google recipes, where it's like, look, I don't want to read, or maybe I do, depending, like sometimes they're actually, like it matters, like it's part of it. But like I'm digging through maybe a book's worth, and all I want is this very simple, like 5-minute recipe for like, I don't know, chocolate chip cookies or whatever. And it's like, I don't get that first. Or maybe I want that first, and then I want to go read the story while I'm waiting for the thing to cook. So that type of separation of concerns is needed. And instead of like saying, look, I clicked on this thing that said recipe, you promised me recipe, and instead I'm reading a book. Where is the recipe? Oh, I have to dig through 500 ads.
Yes.
Oh, another pop-up came up. God damn it. That's how it works.
The recipe, the actual ingredient list is way down below the fold, and then it refreshes. It's super annoying. But what would be great is when you submit this thing is you could actually type out a story if you want, or it could be like, want to turn on your webcam and tell a 1-minute story about this recipe, anything. It doesn't have to be a story. It could just be like, my mom made this. It was my grandma's recipe. Every time she made it, I was so stoked because it was my favorite dish. That could be it. Or it could be, my grandma who was born in Alexandria, Egypt, and walked to another country and did this and did that. She brought this with her. Like, it could be super in-depth if you want, but it could also just be like, this is my favorite recipe that my grandma made.
Or I made this up 3 weeks ago when I had to entertain and I had very few ingredients. It turned out to be really great. Check it out. It could be that. But I think maybe even the word story is the right word for it, because it's so broad and encompassing. And depending on who you are, like whatever your intent is or what that means to you, it means that thing. I think that would be fantastic, because not only that, because also it's like, because if it were just like instructions, like a field for instructions, and then I just happen to put the story there, I would wonder, wait a minute, maybe I shouldn't do that. Or I would take it all out because, like, oh, I guess they just wanted instructions here. And it's like, well, if I'm going to put this thing on here, I kind of want people to appreciate the story. I want it to be minted with the story because that matters. That matters.
Yep.
This is my grandmother's recipe. This is sacred to me. It's not sacred to somebody else, but I want them to at least be exposed to what I'm thinking. So I think that might end up becoming the most important part of the whole thing. And it just so happens to be that, you're sharing the recipe, because after all, when we look at, Anthony Bourdain or any of those shows, or what's the guy, Trying to Find Italy.
Stanley Tucci. I watch all those shows. It's so good.
But Bourdain is like, those episodes are timeless. They're timeless, like in the way that Citizen Kane is a timeless movie. Like, it's just, you can watch it 100 years from now, it'll still work. But it's like, it's story. It's 99% story, and it has to have a little bit to do with food. And that's because, you don't even really appreciate the food. Like, the food is so great because we like these shows because you can, like, the history of, like, that country, that land, those people, it's embedded in it. And when they get even more detailed, like, here's how my mama makes it because of this. And it's like, oh, wow.
But
and
it's just this human special connection because we all can taste it. Like, you can taste it and feel it. And it's,
all of your senses are activated with food. You can't say that about things,
No.
So that's why it's part of the experience so much more. That's like, if you have maybe like a day in, like, or a layover or something in a city or something, probably the first thing you look up, it's like, where can I eat? And I want something local, and I want something that, and maybe it's more, we say, oh, it's all superficial now because of Instagram or whatever. It's like, people were doing that before Instagram. They wanted it just for themselves. Like, they weren't taking photos, but they wanted
my parents does. I bet you any family that did lots of entertaining and stuff, if you look at family photo albums, there are pictures of the table. There's pictures of the plate of fruit. Or maybe that's just my family, but literally you can go to any family event, because my dad was super into it too. And he did catering, and he owned a restaurant at one point in his life. So they literally, in every family event, I'm talking about like pictures where you see like us in baby photos that are all, faded and old school stuff. There's also pictures next to it of the spread of food on the table. They took pictures of it. This wasn't for Instagram. It was for the family photo album, because they thought, of course, we're going to want to look at the pictures of the food 20 years from now. Like, that's crazy, but it's also just shows how important it is. Maybe to my family, that's why I'm this way.
Or if someone comes back from a trip or whatever, and like, what are they telling you about? Like the museums that they went to see? Or are they like, oh, I ate the most amazing, it's
both.
You can speak of it in a way that, like, you were affected by it. You can wax poetic about it. You're not going to do that with like this thing that you necessarily just
Is
saw.
there like a submit button below the folds, Rankin, that we're not seeing, that maybe you need to click on after you do the text? What if you click on download composition? Does it add the text there? Maybe. Oh, it's putting it down below. It should be overlaid in the
Rankin and I have the exact same cough right now. That's my theory. Somehow it's communicated over the internet.
Oh, shit.
Because we keep going.
That's why we all keep getting sick. We're having calls with people around the world, and we think we're getting over it. And we're like, okay, we're fine. And then you just have a call with another person. They just have another strain from the other side of the world. And it's all.
There's my friend who, like, in 2001, like after 9/11, when he had the whole anthrax scare and everything, like, his parents told him not to go check his email because they were afraid he'd get anthrax. They didn't know how the internet worked. Yeah, they didn't know how the internet works. So
it has the word mail in it.
Yeah. So it's like, and it's like some kind of why stuff is connected somehow.
It is. I think we're psychologically connected more than we ever have before. And when you're on a call with somebody who's sick, maybe you're sympathetic to them, and your body's picking it up somehow.
Sympathy, pain.
Well, think, you know what? It actually makes sense. I know what I said was nonsense at first, but now that I'm saying it out loud, right? Think about this. I'm not meaning it in like a weird sex way, but we have intimate connections with human beings across the world in ways we have not been able to ever have before in history. You could have, and people can have, what's up, Jean? I say Jean because your middle name's Pierre, so I assume it's Jean, but you can correct us if you want. So you're back in the day, you could have an intimate relationship with somebody on the other side of the world through really detailed letters and things like that, but it's like few and far between. Now you can have a call. Like, Kevin, when was the last time we saw each other in real life?
Ooh. Oh, I can see you tomorrow, huh?
You could see me tomorrow if you make the drive. I think you should.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is we haven't met each other in real life for a couple years now, maybe, right?
Last crypto
but
labs.
This call is almost every week that we see each other. You join us probably 50% or more of the time. Now, we end up having calls between these calls too, even though I've been pretty flaky lately, so I apologize. But we hang out all the time. We haven't seen each other in real life in 2 years. We're friends. We are close. We talk to each other all the time. You know, there's fires. I'm going, come to my parents' house if you need a place to stay, right? Like, and I'm dead serious about it. I'm not making that, just saying it like, throwing it out there, but I mean it. So we have a close connection, but we're not just having this close connection because we know each other and we're friends and we just text or send letters to each other like you would back then. We actually see each other and we have this close connection you wouldn't have been able to have in the past. And it would be closer or more intimate in that definition of the word if we were in person seeing each other all the time, but we're doing a lesser version of it. And human beings are connected, right? And so, in a psychological, mental, spiritual, vibrational, whatever hippy dippy way, we are, whether, however you believe it or not, we are. So somebody being sick on a call like this could affect somebody just from the mental state, even if the germs obviously aren't passing through the internet. We're not actually implying that.
We're not going there with that.
But you could. We can because think about this. People who believe they're coming down with something, people who believe they're coming down with something, or that they're sick or that they're downtrodden, end up being more often sick and feeling that way. People who are positive and manifest more positive things, technically, things go their way more often. So that's true. So me going, oh man, David Rankin sick. I hope I don't come down with something. I wonder if I'm coming down with something too. Could make you more receptive to it and make you sick. Or I'm so worried about Rankin because we have this close relationship. Maybe I worry myself sick in some weird way. And I don't know. All I'm saying,
like oncologists, they talk about because there's always, there are patients and people around the patients who are like positive thinking and all that kind of stuff.
Well, there's real proof now.
They'll say that it's like, they're like, well, look, I mean, it is a good thing in that if someone has the positive thinking and the positive vibes and energy and all that kind of, it makes them much more willing as a candidate to do things that will heal them
than to live for.
If they don't have that, then they're just a little bit less willing, and that little bit less is enough to change the outcome.
On average, and the their statistics stuff say happy people live longer. So that's talking about food. I always joke with people who try to go, you got to be a little healthier. We got to do this or that, and I go, we're out together right now, right? We're gonna eat out when we're at home. You want to eat healthy, whatever. But happy people live longer also. So I'll have that ice cream with you right now, right? And obviously it has to be to some extent or whatever. But that's true. And there are actual studies of looking at cells under a microscope, and you think happy thoughts about the person or thing, and they vibrate differently and stuff like that. It's a real thing. We have no idea how it's affected, but it is a real thing. Did we buy enough time, Rankin, for the next version? What's
they're building away.
I want to see what's happening now. Does the text show up overlaying on the image yet?
You can write a story.
Also,
that would have been easier than if we went into the image generation. That's what I was trying to avoid when I was saying at the beginning, let's focus on submitting the recipes and then being able to take it and fork your own version and show the tree of the changes. The reason I was saying that was because I knew that image generation and combination is its own beast, and we'd spend 24 hours just trying to get that one part to work properly.
Oh, this is fun though.
It is fun, but look at the. But here's the thing: 10 minutes in, we had a prototype-looking page that anyone could have showed me. If you were going, this is what I want to build, even if it didn't work yet, you have more to show for it than just coming in and pitching me an idea. And that was the whole premise of this call: was no excuses. Stop making excuses, because this thing that Rankin is using has a free version. There's another thing called cursor.ai that I was using that I actually kind of like better in some ways, but I haven't done what Rankin is doing. So we're going to have to compare them. The pay pro version is $20 a month. So for $20, you could be building, right? This is Replit. How much does it cost to be using it for a single license?
I don't know.
Probably tens of dollars a month, right? So even if it was $100 a month, imagine
15 a month.
Replit is $15 a month.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Plan.
You probably pay for so many prompts too, though. So there's probably a prompt.
Okay, but if you get to
it's $10 a month.
You know, if you hit the end of the line, then you're doing something, right?
So where is our?
No, wait, that is yearly. No, it's monthly. If you go month by month, it's $25 a month. You do the annual, it comes down to 15 a month.
Okay, $25 a month if you don't want to commit to a whole year.
So we got this paper.
That's a pretty big.
Look at the feature we have. We have this feature right here.
Talk about inflation. One plate of hummus when we meet each other is going to be more than $25 nowadays. So
nothing. The image show in the preview window. So this has like multiple functionality now.
Okay, so wait for it to be done, and then let's see what the update, the latest update is going to be.
I have one more set of batch updates that I want to give it. We're going to see if we can get this all done within next week. I'm going to prep it for my next. And so if anybody wants to see, like, you can click on the open the files, and it shows you the whole image directory, or the directory of all your files over here on the left.
Yeah. And if you wanted to, obviously, you can go in and change the code on certain parts and things, so that if you know what's wrong or you want to modify something, you can do it yourself. You don't necessarily have to ask the AI to do each and individual.
So here's our components. Here's our user interface right here that's built out all this stuff. Here's, hooks.
Based on what is live here and what I'm seeing there, it's doing a ton of extra unnecessary stuff, probably, right? There seems to be too many files and utilities and pages for this. But per image, you choose which color you want to remove. That's funny.
Yeah, I was trying to have an image preset here, but it's not showing it. So okay, it shows the image. Okay, I need to load the image before the color preset. In the preview pane, we need to
Well, put the background image on now, and we'll see if the background was removed. I think the background was removed.
No, it was on this one.
So put the background image up, and now start typing in the recipe. See if it shows up. Let's see what you built.
Hold on. I'm gonna add a few more features real quick.
You haven't tested the existing ones yet.
But it overs.
Rankin is turning into a mad scientist in front of our eyes. He's like, I want more. I want more.
No, more features. I'm running out of time to build this app.
We never finish on time.
What are you talking about? It's an evolving. Everything's an evolving project. It's not about the input. It's about the journey.
That's right.
Knowing where you're going to pivot, and where you build, right?
Without the friends you make along the way.
Yes.
Now all of our friends are robots.
Well, it's not that bad. I talk to AI all the time. I mean, it's a pretty good intellectual conversation. I'll tell you that.
We don't. Yeah, it's better than people. 'Cause people sometimes you'll like ask a person
Oh, people are
something
such
and then
flakes. People are such
they
flakes.
they just won't know the answer. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, I asked you
AI will
something.
at least
Why don't you
pretend
tell
to
me
know
the
the
answer?
answer.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got some cool things.
Humor
Let's
me.
see. There should be some good updates with this. Let's see what we got.
All right.
Upload this. It's waiting. There are changes you can review. Do I review it here? Okay. So first of all, let's load our background. Go here, select my background. And we're going to do this one. Yep. It's not loading that. That's fine. We don't have a background on that, so we're just going to throw that in there. Choose image. We're going to go to our dishes, our plates. And I'm going to, this might be interesting because the black is actually, okay, still do this. Sweet. And then now we're going to choose our paper.
That's where it's going, Crispin. Crispin said, came up in a serious conversation. What if virtual me could attend the meeting, gave real me a summary and the action points?
Why?
And then, Crispin, the next step is which action points can be done by the AI so I don't actually have to do them. And then you're just reviewing and managing AIU. And now AIU can do, instead of 10x, what you can do, it could be
Something like AI
10x
University.
times 10x times 10x. Once AIU can be in multiple different places at the same time.
Text appears on the page. For some reason, the paper image is not appearing on the top layer.
What about the recipe text? Have you tried typing that in yet?
No, let's try.
One bug at a time.
So
wait. What? How would that go?
Recipes and so
I reported one bug at a time. It didn't cost me.
There's a part of me that like I just wish I could go.
Shitty AI comes to town. Sorry. Remember that
If I could go to do, just go through school again, like your kids, right? Like, I mean, God damn it! You know how like you can just do anything. It doesn't.
Oh,
like, everything can be
both of my kids were using the tools that Sergey showed us to write whole big long documented business plans and things before the weekend.
Yeah, that's another use case for it, right? You can
instead of
Okay.
So instead of actually coding everything, what if we were doing this properly, we would have spent 15 minutes talking to it about what we wanted to build and having it write and draw an actual product plan and roadmap and marketing plan and business plan and everything. And then we would have said, okay, based on this, let's now make the first version. And what we want to do is this. So that whole thing that Kevin and I were talking out loud, we could have done with the AI. And then Rankin would have built based on that instead of building kind of parallel.
How come you don't have that built already, dude? Like when I was building this, you could have been doing that.
We could have. We should have actually been having a split screen of me sharing my screen and doing the business plan part.
Right.
But it's
maybe we just need
an
AI agent to do all of this and anticipate the things that we could need. And then
we should have had AI. You know what?
Do the show as well.
We can get AI to take the transcript from the show and build a product based on what we were discussing. And then we can review that with one single prompt, right? And see what would be better. Rankin building kind of just going off the top of his head and doing this, or just a single prompt of the whole transcript of what this show was.
There you go.
And have it built.
Can you see that?
Boom. Wait, now type more lines on the recipe. Boom, You did it. You did it.
Boom. Have more lines in the recipe?
Yeah, add more lines to the recipe. But like 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of whatever. Yeah, that's fine. Of diced tomatoes.
Flour. Diced tomato. This picture look like that. I don't see the picture of diced tomato. Rice.
Okay, it needs to know to.
It needs to work.
Yeah, but dude,
But there we go.
begins.
Look at that.
And you got it to remove the backgrounds and stuff on its
Yes.
own.
Yes. All within an hour. Okay, now check this out. We can save composition. It will save it locally. Oh, failed to save composition. Okay.
One
so
step at a time.
Hopefully it saved it. Then we can go click new creation, and it'll go to create a new creation, and we can upload new images. Change the background.
And you can revert back if things break, right?
In the code, yes. If I don't like something and I broke something, a feature, and it all of a sudden tweaked out the whole site, I can go back to a previous reiteration.
Oh yeah, it says roll back to here on every thing. Yeah, that's important.
So what's another cool thing is we could do like you're talking about. I need a white paper for
Why is after your white paper?
project. What?
Nothing. I was just fucking around.
It needs a white paper. I need a white paper for this project, comma. Please create a
Well, you said it.
document folder, and put the white paper there.
I think
All
it
right.
should be like a product roadmap or something.
Oh, we can do that
Whatever.
next. We can do that
I mean
next.
that's what that is. So now let's
Yeah.
let's read that
So
and see.
include
That's what we
a-
should have done first. What we should have done
Road.
is started making a product plan and a thing, and then tried to have it start building.
So if we come over here somewhere, we will notice that there will be a document folder once it's complete.
All right, Rankin, I'm going to try to build one of my ideas, maybe this one tonight or later. But yeah, pretty rad, right, Crispin? And we spent a bunch of time on the image generation part. If we would have spent the time on the less complicated text-based part of the business and stuff like that, we would be even further along and have more of a front end thing in less than an hour. Because think about it, we didn't really get started till like 10:20, so it's been like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Where I was going to get to is Rankin. I think we got a team plan for this. Can you add me to it? Because I don't think I signed up for this one yet.
Yeah. And
yeah,
here's our docs. Here's our product
an invite.
roadmap. Just so people can see, here's our product roadmap.
Oh, there we go.
It has additional enhancement features, short-term goals for us.
But here's what the reason why you need to start with this. If you start with this, right, then what you do is you can have it ask you, you can say in the prompt, what you've got to do is give it some of the ideas, but then say, ask me questions along the way to that you have. And so instead of putting things in like GDPR compliance and things like that, which may or may not be important, it will then go, do you want GDPR compliance or have you thought of XYZ? And that's what I had my kids do with their thing. And my daughter, documented a whole fashion line, and it asked like, what colors in your logos? Do you have a logo yet? Would you like me to help you document what the logo will look like? And she ended up with like a 7-page business plan that she started sending, her grandma and stuff, explaining
look at
the
this.
business she's going to start. With
Current
like
version.
the names of the packages of lip glosses she's going to sell and shit. Like,
I mean,
and the
how
pricing
impressive-
model.
How impressive is this, though? If you're at MVP, you show a basic product, you're going to a pitch, you're going, look, here's our current version of what we've included. Here's our roadmap of what we're planning to incorporate into the product going forward. And you have a whole entire roadmap for your product built out, right? Now, here's our white paper. Recipe image composer, revolutionizing digital recipe presentation, executive summary, the problem statement. And then this
but see, we never had that discussion with AI, so it came up with its own problem statement and its own thing.
We probably
right?
should have developed that.
We explained that we want to, my problem statement is simple: solve world peace through real human connection by utilizing food.
Well, how can we just start with that?
Right?
How can we just start with
that? If we sit at a long table, right now, with every nation of the world who hates each other, and everyone put their favorite recipe that their grandma makes on the table, by the end of that dinner, we're all best friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking hyperbole, and maybe if we hated each other and the day before we bombed each other, that would be tough to get over. But if you literally just put a bunch of 18-year-olds who didn't have that, or if you put a bunch of 12-year-olds who don't have the weight of history weighing on them, and they just ate each other's favorite foods at the table and argued with each other about which food was better, they'd all be best friends by the end of the hour, right?
It's like, you see that Curb where they
We're
went
not
to the
different people.
Palestinian chicken place in Curb Your Enthusiasm, and then like
don't
Larry
remember that
and
one.
Jeff would they kept going to it because it was so good, and he's like, God, this is so good. If everyone just tried this Palestinian chicken, we'd have peace between Israel and Palestine instantly.
I totally believe that stuff, because all the same kind of people that have the prejudices and things like that in other countries, when you live in America, if you want to talk about the best parts of America instead of focusing on what we generally focus on because we're humans and we're getting trapped into this bullshit, is that you can go into a restaurant where our ancestors might have hated each other and sit at the same table and fucking love life and take care of each other's families, because that's what you're literally doing. Like, people don't stop and go, when I go and eat at this Palestinian person's restaurant, I'm not only like respecting them and eating their food and enjoying their culture and just showing myself in the world that we're not different, but you're also literally feeding their family, right? That's a special thing. Like, that's what small business is really all about, and that's what the American dream is supposed to be. So if we just completely fuck the border and just let people actually mix and treat people right, I think that
let's make that the
would be a
name.
better space.
Fucktheborder.xyz. Anyway, here I put the
oh wait, we have a private chat. Oh, this is the Curb episode. I'm gonna have to watch this instead.
It's about a minute long if you want to.
Oh.
If we can present it.
Let's see.
Because we're using it for education and commentary, it's fair use.
Share. I mean, share screen, Curb, share. Actually, is there a way to actually like put in like a YouTube link and share that? I have it here.
Yeah,
okay.
Make it full screen.
Did it go into full screen?
All right.
So wait, let me make sure. Is it going to share the audio? Tell me right away if you hear the audio. I'm going to pause it.
Hey, let's get something to eat.
Yep. That's good.
Okay. We're going to watch this.
Hey, let's get something to eat.
Okay.
You want to try out that Palestinian chicken place?
Let's do it. That's all I've ever heard is how great it is.
Fantastic. Okay,
all right.
Let's go.
I've never had chicken like this.
I don't know what the hell they're doing.
I don't know. It's unlike anything I've ever even tasted.
What about this place? Look at these posters. Huh?
Yeah, they do not like the Jews.
Huh? Look at that one.
Ooh.
You're probably the only Jews ever walked in here.
Ever. What these people should do is send their chicken over to Israel.
For the peace process.
Mm-hmm.
They take down all those settlements in the morning. Believe me. You know what? This would be a fantastic place for Jews who are cheating on their spouses to come to.
Right.
Because no Jews ever come here. They'd be so safe.
No one you know is going to ever see you here.
You would never get caught.
Ever.
Looks like they're planning the next intifada at this table, but look at this woman. Could be the next Mrs. David. What do you think about that?
If by some chance she's going to get over her anti-Semitism, odds are
Not with me.
not with you.
Really?
Just my gut feeling.
You know what it is? You're always attracted to someone who doesn't want you, right?
Right.
Well, here you have somebody who not only doesn't want you, doesn't even acknowledge your right to exist.
Yep.
Wants your destruction. That's a turn on.
That's horrible and awesome.
I do have a personal friend who actually had that exact kind of relationship. Who's Jewish Israeli.
Where the heck is that sound? Hold on.
And it was
started playing another thing in the other window, and I was like, it sounded like you had funny. It was like piano music was playing behind you, like you were.
that was the outro for the video.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh, it played while I was talking. But you know, I have a Jewish Israeli friend, and he had a relationship for a while where it was just based on that. It was a turn on. So
I'm trying to. Can I copy and paste this? What Crispin is sharing? How do I do that? That's so annoying. Oh wait. Oh, I can do it. I'm gonna put it into a. Hold on.
What is that?
Crispin is sharing something that he's working on in parallel to what we were just doing. Hold on,
really?
I gotta get the.
GPT?
Yeah.
I didn't know ChatGPT could develop.
I don't know. We're going to see what he's been working on. He put a share link. Hold on. I'm putting this into a tab here. ChatGPT.
Okay. And then like the advanced versions of it, like for the pro version.
Maybe later. Oh, okay. So he's been working on the whole plan. He's got the whole plan here in this link. Oh, and there's example code and stuff like that. But this is going to take effort. See, that's the reason, Crispin, why a product like Replit that here I'm sharing this with Rankin in the private chat if he wants to somehow add some of the text or something somewhere. But that's why having something like Cursor or Replit is awesome, because the agent helps you code it. It helps you code it in different sections, so you can have it like go, oh, I made changes to the product roadmap. Can you change all the pages that mention the word recipe and make it say recipes or whatever, right? And it will go and make those changes, but then you actually can see the code and edit it and whatever. ChatGPT, you have to take the snippets of code and paste it in and go re-edit it and change it and then paste it into your editor. This is like the editor, and the conversation is happening within an actual code building app.
So one thing I did notice, because I tried to use Cursor this weekend, right? And what I did is I did something similar to what he did here, right? What Crispin did with this document. And what I did is I actually built out a product. I had a product that I was already working on in Replit. I told it to break down my entire product and create a white paper, create API, create all the technical documents for the product. And then I brought that over to Cursor. And the problem was when I did that, I imported too much information and I wasn't specific enough about creating the minimal viable product and doing just a small amount. And it tried to build the entire thing, which then was just doesn't work.
I don't know about Replit, but what I do know, Crispin, is that in Cursor, the one that I was using, and maybe that's just you didn't import it right. We got to figure that out. But in Cursor.ai, which is also really cheap, and you don't need to have separate accounts with OpenAI, you can actually choose which model you use for certain things. So you could use Claude if you want, or switch it in certain situations for to have ChatGPT and which model you're using. So you actually can choose based on what you're doing if you want to get into the nitty-gritty. But I actually, for the coding, I think it was using Claude, and that's what I was using for what it was doing. Guys, I gotta get moving.
Yeah, me too.
The next call.
Okay, hold on.
But
okay,
David, you're welcome
let
to
Rankin
stay.
do No, Rankin's got to show us the final, at least where we ended up today.
All right.
And then,
full hour. Okay. So
yeah, it's been about a full hour of.
Just imagine all of this stuff is in its infancy. Just imagine a year from now what you could make, like with a simple prompt, and also the prompting skill to be able to be so specific and know shorthand what everything means.
Oh, and saving worked. Did it actually save a file to your computer?
It did.
Oh, and then you go new creation. Wait, what happens when you go new creation? Do you see where all the previous ones are?
No, I got that.
Click on
new creation allows you to make another one.
Wait, did you see below it said mix random?
I know. Watch this. We're gonna do this.
Oh, shit.
It's kind of like jelly beans.
This just went so many steps ahead. The mad scientist worked. It paid off.
Why? Okay, choose image. I tell you, I like this shit. This stuff's cool. Okay, we're gonna apply a new image, and let's choose a new paper. This should be uploading to the database.
Well, that's why you're able to randomize it and stuff.
See, what I'm wondering is
now put instead of pickle, put hummus or something. Carrots. What if you do multi-line? Did it figure out the multi-line or not yet?
No, I haven't figured that out. I haven't even.
All right. So now what happens when you go scroll down and go mix random?
Oh,
it's not there.
Yeah,
saved composition.
It's not active yet. It looks like
the saved compositions isn't showing. Dude,
I'm also wondering. There should probably be something where you could.
The next
you should be able to
click on mix random and have it generate a random based off of the previous layers. Was the idea. So I will work on that later. We will show that can work, but not today, because I think we're out of time.
Remix my recipe.
But no, it's theory. We should do. Hold on.
And I want you to remix it.
The mix random button isn't live,
because maybe that's what.
And the
that's
saved compositions aren't showing up below.
Maybe that's the thing. It's like, look, I have this old recipe.
No, the saved composition saved. No, it's been saving to my desktop.
No, but I mean the saved compositions below aren't showing up. It looks like it's meant to show there.
Yeah.
Like Kevin, yeah, that's a cool idea. Like you share recipes you like, and then it gives you updated versions or remixes them a little bit so you can. But the problem with that is there's stuff like that, but I've seen AI created recipes that look just horrible and weird.
I was just thinking
this is more, we need to use AI to help us, and then we need to lean into our humanity, right? I think that's what we need to do, is we need to lean into what we talked about in the previous things with like the purpose. Imagine this. We now have AI can build for us, right? AI builds. It can amplify what we do. What do we do with that extra time? Yeah. You know what we're going to do with that extra time? We're going to solve world peace. We're going to put ourselves in each other's shoes, and we're going to sit down at the dinner table together and enjoy the life that this technology is giving us. That's it, right? So let's do it.
Or also solve world hunger. It's like, okay,
yes,
because climate conditions, based on these resources we have, based on this population, based on this cost, how can we feed this many people in this region? And the weather conditions, and like, so it'll tell you what you can grow, what you already have, and the nutrition that would have to align with your own.
All these things will eventually be able to be forked from this world-saving thing. But that's what the thing that Rankin is putting together was kind of, based on my idea of the original NFT drop that was supposed to raise money for some kind of world hunger organization or something like that, and then bring us all together. The whole point was to raise money for some kind of charity. Right. And then it evolved from that. So that's where we are. Guys, we got to finish this off. We're going to have to continue this stuff. If you are an early stage startup that is building, especially in the blockchain space, but just building, and you want to pitch it to somebody, go to dgb.vc, come hang out with us. If you happen to be in Southern California, tomorrow we're doing an open co-working hangout. Kevin's going to make the drive and hang out with me.
Oh, nice.
Kevin, I'm going to buy everyone lunch, so be there. And maybe we can convince people to have something yummier than just pizza or something.
For those that are interested, we'll also be at ETH Denver too.
And we will be at ETH Denver also. So if you're going to ETH Denver, reach out so we can all do some hang sessions.
All right, everyone. AI-generated business plan. Be sure to submit it.
Yeah,
to
but here's the thing. Now you got to be. The burden of actually showing something has to overcome this, right? Because if this is like starting at zero.
It ups the standard.
Right? It ups the standard big time. Yeah. Now I'm going to need to see more from somebody, because this I know my kids can do in a weekend, right? David Rankin can do in an hour. Boom, there it is. All the saved compositions. Awesome.
What's random do?
Do it. There you go. It just mixed random, but it doesn't look so random because it keeps choosing the same ones.
It generated this. So we'll have to work on the mix random feature, but
that's cool. All right, guys. Peace. Have a great week. I'll talk to you guys soon, and we'll talk to everyone else.
Hey, look,
tomorrow, maybe.
It did it. So look at this plate. It grabbed this background, and it grabbed this plate.
Different plate, different background. Oh, there you go. Now you got to just add more so the random is more obvious.
Right.
All right. Peace out, everyone. No excuses. Let's do it. Use this. Spend more time outside and eating lunch with your friends and family.
Right.
Tezos.finance.
Tezos.finance, and follow Kevin everywhere at K-Merabi, MEHRABI. Follow Kevin.
Tezos.finance. Lending and borrowing.